Well, I did it. I said I'd do it, and I'm a man of my word. I watched the 2 episodes of the new season of Doctor Who that dropped on Friday. Why? And I also promised to watch it and review fairly, so I'm not just crapping on it the whole time.
I don't believe you.
And I will do that as well. There's actually some good and some bad. I'll get into all of it. I'm Troy from Marks on TV, and today we're reviewing Space Babies and The Devil's Chord from Doctor Who. Now, let's get into it. I'll be as fair as possible with these reviews. I'll go through everything that happened, so yes, here is your spoiler warning. Episode 1 was very much more science fiction, sort of in line with older Doctor Who, whereas Episode 2 was far more fantastical, in line of, like, the giggle. In fact, it heavily ties into the giggle. That episode was super divisive, so that may indicate whether or not you'd like it. Let's start with the episode titled Space Babies.
Space Babies!
The Doctor first takes Ruby Sunday back to the Jurassic era to show off what the TARDIS can do. They make a joke about if Ruby steps on a butterfly, it might affect the future. Well, she does, and becomes a lizard person. The Doctor can apparently heal things now, and blows on the butterfly to bring it back to life, and everything's back to being fine.
What? What the fuck?
Okay. The Doctor and Ruby then stumble onto a space station in the future, but this isn't your average space station. It's manned by a crew of talking babies.
Space Babies!
Oh, I'm sorry, Space Babies. We know this because the Doctor says Space Babies about 5,000 times in this episode.
Space Babies!
There's also something that looks like a xenomorph you ordered off of Wish.com hiding in the basement of the ship, but we'll get to that later. If this isn't bizarre enough, they're under the care of Nan E, who turns out to actually be a woman named Jocelyn and not artificial intelligence. She's the last adult left on the station. Apparently, everyone else decided to evacuate, but Jocelyn opted to stay behind with the babies being grown in the baby farm in the space station.
Grab the children! Save the children!
Yes, those words left my mouth. There are some messages in here about humans being immigrants on a new planet, and then I think they were trying to jackhammer some weird message about abortion in there, saying that the humans didn't want to take the babies that they grew in the baby farm, but they also didn't want to kill them, so they left them to float in space until they just died of lack of oxygen. I don't know what they were trying to say with this. Things get even weirder when they discover the monster in the basement, called the Bogeyman, or Boogeyman, was created from baby boogers and a program on the computer that I guess makes baby fantasies come to life.
Ew, David!
I suppose. They trap it, and Jocelyn tries to eject it into space to save the babies, but for some reason, the Doctor and Ruby decided it's the last of its kind, so it must live. Oh, and the babies now love the scary monster thing? Why? Don't know. After all the chaos, the Doctor fixes up the station by making it fart. I'm serious.
But I am gonna let it rip!
He then sends Jocelyn, the babies, and the Bogeyman on their way. The Doctor offers Ruby a spot on the TARDIS, but lets her know that they can never go back to see the night that her mom dropped her off at the church on Ruby Road. I forgot to mention that at one point in the episode, when the Doctor and Ruby started talking about that night, it randomly started snowing and playing Christmas music. This storyline still intrigues me, and I hope they don't fumble it. Either way, the episode was complete trash.
There's so much not right about you.
I couldn't get through it fast enough. Most of it didn't make sense. The introduction stuff for Ruby figuring out how the TARDIS works was fine. The graphics were better than the usual Doctor Who stuff, but that's where it stops. Moving on though, let's now run down the second episode of the weekend, The Devil's Chord. In a blast from the past, a music teacher accidentally summons a soul-sucking entity called the Maestro by playing what's called the Devil's Chord. The Maestro literally crawls out of the piano from another dimension, and it was cool until we got this thrilling back and forth.
Henry, get away from him. Them. What? Me. What? I'm them. You're who?
You're who?
Fast forward to 1963, where the Doctor and Ruby do what I would do in the TARDIS and head to what would eventually become Abbey Road Studios to see the Beatles.
Give me a hell yeah!
I do have to pause here to give a hand to the makers of Doctor Who for not derailing this entire story to give us side stories on why the Doctor wouldn't have had a super easy time back in 1963 England. Either way, they quickly discover that music has lost its mojo and everyone is singing about stupid crap. To test things out, the Doctor and Ruby play a sad song for a lesbian.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Not a joke, on a piano, which grabs the attention of Maestro. After a quick jaunt to a nuclear winter future, because having no joy from music apparently makes the world hate each other, okay?
Right.
We get some family drama from the Toymaker. Maestro lets us know that they are the Toymaker's child. One of many, by the way, so we're getting more of this. Toymaker trapped Maestro for eternity, and the Devil's Chord released it. While Toymaker was the embodiment of games, Maestro is the living embodiment of music and literally feeds on it. Hence, music is gone, stolen by Maestro throughout all of time. The Doctor and Ruby end up back in 1963, trying to find a magical chord to banish Maestro. The Doctor comes close, but misses the final note.
You blew it!
Ruby is only saved from Maestro by another snowfall and the sound of Carol of the Bells randomly playing.
I'm getting scaredy farts.
Again, another nod to the day where she was left at the church on Ruby Road. But while the Doctor and Ruby are hung up, thankfully John Lennon and Paul McCartney... Oh, wait. John Lennon and Paul McCartney? That's the most fantastical thing about this show. Great casting, guys.
Sorry, sir. Doing my best.
Either way, they show up to save the day with the final chord that traps Maestro back in the piano and restores music to the world. Before Maestro gets sucked up? Nah, still bad. Before Maestro is trapped, they tell the Doctor and Ruby that the one who waits is still on their way. Again, I'm assuming this is going to be Celestial Toymaker's sister, Hakuba, the Queen of Time. She only appeared in audio dramas, so this could be her debut on screen. But then, the Doctor breaks the fourth wall, telling Ruby,
I have to tell you, there's always a twist at the end.
And we get a shitty dance number that people are comparing to the musical Hairspray, only somehow lamer. Final thoughts on this episode, it wasn't perfect. If we get more show tunes and dance numbers, I swear to God, I'm not gonna be happy. This was a fear I had when Chudy Gatwa said he wanted to take down a monster by twerking.
Thank you, Doctor. Take 2 of these and call me in the morning.
I guess the dance number is better, but only slightly. Do you want to get stabbed or drink arsenic? Another critique I have is the fourth wall breaking bullcrap and needs to stop. I hate being beat over the head with the fact that I'm watching a show. I get it. Don't break my immersion. The Maestro was a great villain. Creepy, scary, unique, a good actor, and Maestro being a drag queen, whatever. It almost kind of added to the character, so I dig it. I'll bet you the Toymaker's entire family is part of the LGBTQ LMNOP community.
Yup!
But that doesn't bother me as long as they're good at their jobs. So far, they've been great. I noticed there's a disproportionate amount of LGBTQ LMNOP characters in Doctor Who now, even if they're just mentioned in conversation, and it makes you roll your eyes, but whatever. Doctor Who is definitely gearing itself towards one very specific audience from now on.
Oh, gay, so gay.
The fantastical stuff, though most of Doctor Who is generally not that way, was done really well. The science fiction stuff, however, needs to step it the hell up. I know the sci-fi elements have always been sketchy at best, but seriously, this is a sci-fi show. Space Babies was damn near unwatchable after the first 5 minutes.
Pain. That's it.
The plot didn't make much sense, it was immature, and it was just an annoying piece of television to get through. Let's step it up, people. Russell T Davies and his crew used to be able to combine the fantastical and whimsical with scientific gobbledygook very well. Now, it's like they're struggling. But maybe it's just a one-off. I enjoyed The Church on Ruby Road, and now The Devil's Chord, so 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I guess I'll have to wait till this weekend for more.
You're in for it.
One last point, the Doctor has actually been bringing up some canonical stuff that either hasn't been mentioned in forever, or he's reinforcing canon that we'd wondered if they'd just erase and pretend it never happened. For instance, in The Devil's Chord, he has a whole conversation with Ruby about his granddaughter Susan. He doesn't go into much detail, but he does bring up living in the junkyard with Susan, and that Susan is indeed his granddaughter. Not much past that, like, the fact that he left her and her husband behind and never saw them again.
Now, suppose I leave you here.
That's a bit awkward. I guess we'll have to wait to see if they brush more Who history into the Whoniverse. And let's hope for less dance numbers, less political messaging. Luckily, there wasn't any obvious political commentary in The Devil's Chord, and more well-written stories. Comment with your thoughts on this. Did you like Space Babies? Did you like The Devil's Chord? Do you like more of the sci-fi aspect of Doctor Who, or more fantastical Doctor Who? Do you think Russell T Davies and company have lost their touch, or do you like the looks of the future for Doctor Who? Let me know down in the comment section. Also, please share this video around to everyone you know, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the little bell to be notified every time we post brand new content. I've been Troy from Arcs on TV, and we'll see you next time.